When you think about wars and battles in science fiction, you know those that are set in outer space or in different alien planets, you'd automatically think spaceships, lasers, plasma weapons, and nukes. But swords and blades are never entirely ruled out. And so here in this video, we will showcase the unique bladed melee weapons that are seen in these sci-fi universes. A kind of paradoxical theme, but still cool nonetheless. Let's get to it. The first one is the long blade. So in the Dune universe, people actually fight with swords instead of guns, mainly due to a technology called the Holtzman shield. These personal shields block anything moving too fast, like a bullet, or also if you fire a laser at it, a reaction would occur that results in a nuclear explosion that just kills everyone, including you. But if you move something slowly enough, like a carefully thrusted sword, it can pass through the shield and stab the person inside of it. This shielding in Dune completely changes warfare there, and ground wars become melee again. So among these weapons, the ones used in Dune are the long blades of the Atreides and the Sardaukar, for example, and they have become iconic to the franchise, especially due to the movies. The swords themselves are designed to be more for stabbing rather than cutting because of the shielding that only allows for slow movements to penetrate, and slashing would require a fast speed, so that will be blocked out. Then another type of blade from the same universe and arguably more infamous than the rest is the Cris Knife. It's a special kind of blade made from the tooth of a sandworm, those gigantic worm-like creatures that live on the desert sands of Arrakis. These knives, or blades, aren't just weapons of war, they are sacred to the Fremen, the desert people that live there. A Cris Knife is also a symbol of honor and survival. They are incredibly sharp and strong, but there's a catch. If a Cris Knife is taken away from the Fremen and not kept properly, meaning it has to be in close proximity to a human body or specially treated, it will decay and crumble to dust. So those are the two swords or blades from Dune. Now let's head on to another sci-fi universe with a space setting, but one with even more fantastical melee weapons. And yeah, we're talking about the grim dark galaxy. So here, even though armies have devastating, unbelievably powerful firearms and tanks, melee weapons are still incredibly important, especially amongst the elite warriors like the Space Marines. The reason is both symbolical and practical. Many Xenos, heretics, and chaos enemies have hardened armors that simple las guns can't penetrate, and there's also the limited ammunition to contend with. So a well-placed blow from a specialized melee weapon can punch through armor and can be used almost indefinitely by super soldiers that never get tired. So we have two entries here, to be humble, and also to allow other franchises too a chance for glory here in this video. Firstly, we have the more famous chain swords, which are exactly what they sound like, a sword with a chain of spinning teeth like a chainsaw running through the blade, and instead of just cutting, this chainsword rips and tears its way through flesh, armor and bone with brutal force. They're not graceful weapons, to say the least. They are messy, loud and terrifying, but very effective, and they're meant to physically destroy whatever they hit. A chainsaw's design usually has a large motor built into the hilt or spine of the blade, and it rolls like a chainsaw when in use. Space Marines, Imperial Guard officers and even Chaos Warriors use them, swinging them with huge, crushing arcs to tear enemies apart in close combat. Then there are the power swords. These, on the other hand, are more elegant and deadly. They look like normal swords, but they are sheeted in a thin, invisible energy field when activated. This field is generated by a tiny but powerful energy cell in the hilt, or sometimes by psychic abilities of the user. They can slice through almost anything by disrupting molecular bonds, or by just allowing the warp-infused power to do the damage. So while a chainsword shreds through a target with brute mechanical violence, a power sword cuts through with almost effortless precision, even against heavy armor or monstrous alien flesh. They are prized weapons. They are often heirlooms handed down through generations, and are typically carried by notable Astaris, officers of the Imperial Guard, heroes or champions of the Emperor. Then we come to Star Wars. And one of, if not the most iconic swords in space sci-fi is of course the Lightsaber. It's like a sword made of pure energy, and they are used primarily by Force users like the Jedi and the Sith. Instead of a metal blade, it has a beam of energy or plasma that can cut through almost anything. Each lightsaber is a personal weapon. A Jedi or a Sith builds their own, using a rare kyber crystal that focuses the energy into the blade. The color of the blade would often reflect the user's connection to the Force. For example, blue and green for Jedi, and red for Sith. It's not just a weapon, but also a symbol of their bond with the Force, and wielding one takes incredible skill and discipline. These lightsabers are so powerful that they can cut through anything, but when they clash against each other, they do so without cutting through. But against most normal materials, except for Mandalorian Beskar steel, they are unstoppable. Then we also have a lesser known bladed type of weapon in this universe, which are called the Vibro Blades or Vibration Blades. These are used by a lot of people, and they are also greatly utilized by the Mandalorians. These Vibro Blades are physical blades, actually sharpened metal, but with a special trick that they vibrate at incredibly high speed. This vibration allows the blade to slice through objects much more easily than a normal sword could, almost like a chainsaw but much finer and elegant. Some vibroblades are made from Beskar, a rare Mandalorian iron or steel that is nearly indestructible and can resist even lightsaber strikes. So a well-made Beskar vibroblade in the hands of a skilled fighter could clash with a lightsaber of a Jedi or a Sith head-on. Now the seventh entry here is the energy sword from Halo. So in the world of Halo, the one with the Master Chief, the energy sword is one of the most famous weapons used by the Covenant's elite warriors. Think of it like a lightsaber, but even more brutal looking, with two curved blades made of pure, superheated plasma connected to a hilt, a handle. It is devastating at close range. It is capable of slicing enemies apart instantly and piercing through even the most powerful armors. It is powered by a special powerful battery inside of its handle, and it is designed to be quick, to overwhelm the enemies with strikes and slashes. It is almost ceremonial too. It is a mark of honor amongst the elites, who are these incredibly skilled fighters and aliens, which are also known as the Sangheili, and they are seldom used by other alien races. Then we also have another one called the Prometheian Arm Blades. This is a totally different beast altogether. It is used by these things called the Promethean Knights, which are advanced AI warriors with the essence of sentient beings inside of them. These are created by the Forerunners, notably by the Didac in the current setting. Instead of a sword that is held, the blade actually emerges from the Promethean arm. It is a sharp and deadly weapon, and it can cut through armored soldiers with ease. And get this, the blade is made of light. Yep, hard light to be precise. An ancient Forerunner technology that allows light to be transformed into a solid state, capable of bearing weight and performing a variety of tasks, like cutting in this instance. Then coming to the world of the universe of StarCraft, we first have here the Psionic Blades, which are these weapons of the Protoss aliens. They look like a glowing sword made from pure psychic energy, but it's not just made by technology. It is an extension of the warrior's mind and spirit. The blade exists because of the zealots or the Protoss mental power, channeled through a small device on their wrist. It is a short-range weapon because it is melee, but it hits harder than almost any regular weapon in this universe, because it is fully charged or overcharged with deadly psionic force, meaning it not only cuts through but also shreds the target's mind and body at the same time. Then in the same universe of StarCraft, we also have these weapons called the monomolecular blades, which are like these super advanced energy swords created by humans from the Koprulu sector, which are called Terrans in this game. It is a mix of cutting-edge technology and also psychic or psionic power. The blade is sharpened down to almost a single molecule at the edge, making it as sharp as anything could be, I guess. And these things are also seen in 40k, used by the Assassins, the Eldari and the Necrons. But in this universe in StarCraft, what makes it even deadlier is that it channels the user's psionic power or mental energy to sharpen itself even further. Depending on who wields it, the blade glows differently with different colors like the lightsabers. It'll be blue for the elite operatives called the Ghosts like Nova or Kerrigan, and red for the more dangerous, unstable ones called the Spectres. Now next, coming to the universe of Mass Effect, we have here first the Omni Blade, which is a brilliant mix of technology and practicality. It is not a real sword you carry around. It is generated instantly from an Omni tool, a wrist-mounted computer every soldier and tech expert has in this universe. When needed, the Omni tool projects a hardened blade made of orange energy and materialized force fields. It is highly effective in a fight. The blade solidifies just long enough to stab or slash before disappearing again. It is fast, sneaky, and perfect for a sudden close combat kill. Then another blade here from the same universe is the Asari sword, which is much more traditional compared to the Omni Blade. The Asari, who are elegant and deadly warriors, forge actual physical swords. These blades are made of incredibly advanced materials, which are ultra-light and super strong metals, and they are often enhanced with the Asari's natural biotic powers, which are basically telekinetic abilities. So while the sword itself is solid, the wielder might use their mind to push enemies back or strike with force that seems to augment their blades or make their weapons seem more magical. Now let's end this video with a notable mention of 3 iconic blades which are unique individual legendary blades seen in space sci-fi. Firstly, there is the Emperor's Sword that is exactly what it sounds like. This is from the world of Warhammer 40k. It is the personal weapon of the Emperor of Mankind himself. It is a golden massive blade crafted by the greatest artificers of ancient Earth and charged with devastating psychic energy. In the Emperor's hand, the sword could cleave through tanks, demons and entire squads of enemies with just one swing. It is a weapon of godlike power, burning so brightly with energy that mortal eyes can barely look at it. After the Emperor was mortally wounded during the Horus Heresy and then entombed on the Golden Throne, the sword was then passed on to one of his sons, one of the superhuman Primarchs, Rabudi Gilliman, who now uses it in the Imperium's wars against the endless horrors of the galaxy. And get this, the sword when in use would give demons a true death and burn with a super hot flame. Then next we have the Dark Saber, a legendary one-of-a-kind lightsaber with a black blade. It was created by Tare Vizsla, which is the first Mandalorian ever to be inducted to the Jedi Order, thousands of years in the past. Unlike normal lightsabers, the Dark Saber's blade is flatter, almost like a black blade surrounded by a white glowing plasma edge. It's more than just a weapon here, it is a symbol of leadership among the Mandalorians. And then lastly, arguably, we have one of the most powerful blades ever. This is the Crucible from Doom. Remember that Doom, even though it is focused highly on fighting undead and demons, it is still a sci-fi franchise set originally in Mars, and then in space, and now with the upcoming Dark Ages, it will also include the cosmic realm of Cthulhu. So the Crucible blade is basically the ultimate melee weapon for the Doom Slayer. It is a massive sword made from supercharged energy, forged specifically to kill the most powerful demons. It is not just a cool weapon, it is almost sacred in Doom lore, tied to the ancient wars between humans, demons, and mysterious godlike beings. And with that, we come to the end of this video on the 12 unique swords and blades in space sci-fi, including 3 notable mentions. Do hit that like button for support and smash that subscribe button to be a part of Legio Notebook. Take care, boys.